Serious, failed suiciders, what was the aftermath and how did you adjust to going forward in life?
I was hospitalized and was finally properly diagnosed with bipolar disorder. After that, I started actually being able to identify and deal with bipolar issues and get medication that helped instead of hurt me. Spent 3 days in a hospital against my will, which freaked me out further because I have an irrational fear of being held against my will. Got diagnosed bipolar and started medication. Life has been rocky, but I'm glad I couldn't do it. Kind of off topic considering I haven't tried to kill myself. But every day that goes on it feels and sounds nicer. Recently got fired from my job, had to move back home, about to lose my car. I've applied to every place hiring in a 20-mile radius. Temp agencies have nothing open right now. I feel sad all the time. I'm so scared to see what happens to me. My greatest fear is dying, but it just sounds different to me now. I feel numb. I'm a man and all I want to do is cry. But I keep it all choked up. I just don't know what to do anymore, and I'm scared I'm going to go through with it one day when something hits me hard. And that's even more scarier. Edit, this really shows how much people care, even if you don't know them. I love you guys/girls. It meant a lot to wake up to this and lo and behold started crying. Maybe that's what I need. I'm going out today to my local restaurants to apply in person to at least get some sort of income in. When I was 13 I walked into rush hour traffic hoping to get hit by a car and die. I just kept walking and eventually ended up on the sidewalk. I felt cars rushing by behind and in front of me. I still don't know how I wasn't hit. No one even slammed their brakes to avoid hitting me. I was completely dumbfounded, took it as a sign that maybe today wasn't the day. After that I walked back home. I had never imagined my life could get any worse than it already was at the time, but sure enough it did, and my mental state followed suit. I contemplated suicide every day, and there were many more attempts after that, but that was the first serious one. Now I'm 20, and things are starting to get better. I've distanced myself from toxic family members, drug addicts and toxic drug addict family members, which has helped significantly. It's still a daily struggle, but now I can at least see the light at the end of the tunnel. Hopefully there isn't an earthquake. Took 30 pills of midazolam and like 40 of quetiapine. Woke up 3 days later in ICU, 10 days at that hospital and 20 in a psychiatric one month ago. Hospitals are boring as hell. I wasn't depressed, also I didn't feel anything while doing it or as I woke up. Right now I'm literally just playing League of Legends and watching movies all day cause I had to postpone my semester and I have like nothing interesting to do. The scar isn't that visible given it's almost wrist level. So I guess it's not that bad, not a single soul noticed. And with going forward, I feel absolute apathy rather than apathy mixed with bad feelings, so I guess that's good. Deleted. Senior year of high school and everything had fallen apart. My dreams were crushed, my friends abandoned me, and I didn't feel safe at home. Took enough medication, ended up sobbing myself to sleep and throwing up in the morning. I stayed home the next 2 days and everything felt like a sick dream, that I should have died. No one knew. I had to keep going through life, even though I had no motivation to do so. Somehow got through it. That was almost 4 years ago, nearly tried again twice, but I have to live for those around me. 6.5 years ago, roughly, March of 2011, I decided I wanted out. My parents were at the peak of their feud regarding the destruction of their marriage and most of that was trickling down to me and my siblings. I was a couple years out of high school, had no self-esteem or direction, and capped it all off with a nasty separation with my ex that devastated me. I downed a bunch of booze I had in my closet, listened to a few of my favorite songs, and took myself to the bathroom. Ran a bath, and began my execution. Cut as deep as I could with a razor vertically up both of my wrists along where I felt my pulse. Bled a little, but missed both arteries by a couple millimeters, I figure. Blacked out from the amount of alcohol I drank prior. Don't remember much else. I should have gone to therapy after the hospital visit. They were ready to release me the same night I was admitted, believe it or not. Gave me a basic analysis the next morning and sent me on my way. Nobody really talked to me for a while. Everyone was worried they'd be a trigger for me. It was hard. How did I adjust? I don't know if I have. I'm still a very depressed person with suicidal tendencies, and I'm currently going through the grieving period of another failed relationship that I blame on my depression. So that's a thing. I had my own apartment and I really don't know what happened to me the week before because I can't remember it at all. I took 16 grams of 500 milligrams extra strength Tylenol because I wasn't coping with my ex's death. His anniversary is coming up in less than a month, and unlike last year, I have a way better support system. I took the pills around 1 a.m. and began to write my suicide notes. 3:15 a.m. rolls around and there's a knock at my door. I go to open it and 7 police officers are outside my door. They ask me how many pills I took, how long ago, etc. I lied mainly because I hate cops and I had no intentions of living this time. Since I looked physically fine, they had no reason to think I was lying. They left and I continued to write my note. Around 5 to 6 a.m., my friend, who was best friends with my ex, texted me saying please don't do anything stupid. I rolled my eyes and passed out. Woke up in the ICU wondering how the fuck I lived and how long I had been there. Turns out, my case manager came to check on me and found me in a pool of my own vomit. Called 911 and ended up in the ICU. I'm still not doing as well as I portray to others I am, but I'm trying. I posted in another thread, I am glad I'm alive. I feel that way most of the time, but there are so many other times where I feel like goddamn why can't I kill myself, right? I'm scared to try again in fear of living and going to the psych ward and every good thing I have where I live now crumbling to shit. Because it's so close to his second death anniversary, I have dark thoughts way more often than I ever did throughout the year. Edit, today is 1 year since I posted his memorial video, just checked Facebooks on this day, and I'm not doing too well. Just thought I'd add that little tidbit. I took 7 Xanax bars, drank a 6-pack, drove my car to the side of a ditch and cut open the artery in my wrist. A stranger saved my life and within minutes I was in the hospital. I lost all my friends, quit my job, dropped out of college, and moved back home 5 hours away to live with my parents. My parents were heartbroken and constantly felt like they had to keep an eye out for me, and the 2 friends I had left were extremely supportive and constantly checked on me. Other than that, everyone else stopped talking to me. My siblings were mad and didn't understand why I would attempt suicide, so they ignored me. My long-term boyfriend at the time told me he wanted me out of his life. We were long distance and he was in the military, because I added too much stress to his life. It was extremely difficult to move forward. I had to get a new job, start a new college, and try to make new friends. It took me 6 months to adjust and start feeling normal again, and another year to accept what had happened and to actually move forward. I don't speak to anyone from my old life, but I've forgiven everyone who decided to cut ties with me. It's a difficult thing to deal with and something most young adults don't know how to deal with, and I understand why they did it. I'm doing okay now and life is moving forward, slowly, but it's moving. It's been 2 years and I'll hopefully be getting into nursing school soon. I think the best thing I got, other than a second chance at life, is I value my life so much more now. I still get depressed and sad, but I don't get suicidal anymore. There's something about knowing I was so close to death that makes me hold on to the hope of life, no matter how bad it gets. It's still my life and I'm still alive. Deleted. Deleted. Gunshot didn't work, painful memories immediately after. Probably scarred some of my family. Surgery sucked and so did the psychiatric ward. All the pills put me to sleep for a while and my blood pressure was so low I couldn't stand up without blacking out. Had to crawl quite a bit for a few days. Jumping from a moving car left some serious road rash. Don't remember much of that time. I guess there was a 4th time, but I was on a 3-day blackout, thanks clonazepam. Been 10 to 12 years since all these events. I am happy to be alive. I moved 1,500 miles, started a new life and found a job that pays 150k 200k a year that I enjoy doing, hardly feels like work. I am alone, but that's my own fault. I have ruined many relationships. My fear of being alone drives me to be with others and destroys relationships I hold precious. Live and learn from your mistakes, life is what you make it.